then estate gold mine. He became an artisan during that time. My father is a founding member of NAM. And then many people have benefited from those policies.
Recognition of prior learning?
Yes. Now, we would single out one thing and say, comrades have benefited, now they become enemies of the people on the basis that they've benefited. And one thing that we must, all of us, never forget, it was that even in those negotiations of your BEE, of giving, people say, Comrade Mbeki gave people white capitalist guarantee that they were not going to fiddle with their businesses and everything. And then
dismantle
white monopoly capital. Everyone's talking about white monopoly capital, and then now when you say we became a commodity,
but it's true.
It's there.
Yes.
No, monopoly capital is there.
Is there? And
whether white or black.
I know. Yeah, but
in Nigeria there are no whites.
Yeah.
In Uganda there are no whites. They are capitalists there.
Yeah,
but I'm saying in South Africa, because of our democratic, whites are here. So whether we say brown or white, it doesn't matter to me. Now, when these comrades agreed about those policies, they were not sure that it will come to pass. It will be implemented. There was a lot of mistrust up until the last time. And whatever that the ANC would have salvaged from those negotiations, they understood that once we have political power, then we can expand this influence and changing of the status quo. But there was so much going on, as I say, so much that we would not even have luxury to sit here and talk. You understand? So now I always say, everyone who points out all those things today, they were part of the ANC. Comrade President Zuma was part of the ANC from inception, even every negotiation. Today, Comrade Chris would be with us. And Comrade Chris was one of the most disciplined people in the ANC. And I believe so much that if he was alive, would have still be rallying behind the ANC, because he understood dynamics that they shift every second. They were in an era where things change every day. And I was trying to explain when you interjected. I was trying to tell you what, there was a PAC that said, this is Mickey Mouse. We are in a circus. We are not going to tell this. Yes. He was a chief director of operation. And they were continuing, holding on their arms and continuing with activities, And then there was a Azapo that was just ideological and very strong. They had great ideas, Sham. Azapo, great ideas, great ideas. And then there was the right, and there was the National Party that was throwing itself to the ANC to say, comrades, we are here, we want to assist. And even the ANC didn't trust them, because there were people in the National Party who didn't take, there was not a center of command in the National Party. I mean, de Klerk from 1992 coming this way, he was a statutory president. He was not commanding anything, because people now were trying to, his own peers were trying to accumulate some, do away with evidence, your flag plus. There was so much that is happening. Put your mama flag plus, vote. Yeah. Yes. Killings, political killings, death squads, and all that. Now, when the ANC resoluted on BEE, according to me, it has succeeded. And it has failed. The plan was very clear. There was a beer called Vivo Lager. That was a contesting South African brewery that failed. Professor Manyan was somewhere in Mintre that with time. But all I'm saying is that it's not there were so many that were given. People say they were given in a silver platter, those who were PEE people. But there are so many that they failed, and there are so many that they have succeeded. So it could not only depend on whether they were given. 2 million. Oh, you understand? And
true story.
Yes, and and they are blacks. You understand?
True story.
So, to me, BE it was the best policy to have a plan to infiltrate the main market and the monopoly, white monopoly capital.
Thank you. You see, when I talk to you, we run the risk of talking until until we forget each other, because the reason is I want us to talk about the 30 years and what happened in the 30 years, but I want to also understand who Joe Mamasela, the Ascaris, the spies, the less spies, where are they now? Why are people afraid to talk? What percentage were the spy? What's the percentage of the spy who infiltrated the ANC and who are still in dominance as we speak? But let's take time to talk. So these Ascaris are often confused with genuine members
of SAPS.
No, of the organization itself, and of course in the armies, and because they were infiltrators. Do you remember the legend of Joe Mamasela?
Yeah. I think one of the outstanding Ascaris that I always study about or watch is like one of Joe Mamasela, one of Famela. Yes. When that fella pizza is still around, I think it's in Krugersdorp somewhere. Recently there was a case that they wanted to resurrect against him of some murders. But remember, Ascari, they were comrades that were recruited into the system, and it happened everywhere. It happened through PIDE in Mozambique. Comrades of Frelimo were recruited and infiltrated. Frelimo was infiltrated, and there was a stage where Comrade Samara Machel, when he took over, he called a gathering of collaborators to be, must name themselves and introduce themselves to the society and tell people what was their contribution to whatever that PIDE ordered them to do. PIDE was intelligence service of the Portuguese state. Now, in any struggle, especially the struggle of South Africa, it took very long. In any struggle, you would find people who cannot endure time and endure the hardships.
They want to eat.
When you talk about, besides eating, it's not like even our own liberation movement, they are clean. You heard even during TRC about Quattro, ANC Quattro camp, where comrades felt that they were
Angola.
Yeah, they were just abused and all that, and comrades they were making accusations. Those who deflected that no, we were not gonna murela or nyagela cherry or murela, or they suspect that you were sent by South African government. So all those things, they are part of a struggle. They are part of fighting for liberation, and a revolution is not a bed of roses. And it was just by luck that I think the 1987 there was that spillage by who Nivod, who when he left and went to Lusaka to meet the ANC and tell them that the operation, the shenanigan of that time, what was happening, and the Ascari works Ascari working through other comrades within the ANC and the MK. Now, That's why I tell people that the National Party didn't just agree and succumb to CODESA and negotiation. Even in their own house, the war and the instability of this country took very long, that even their systems were not in order. Their house was in tatters, and there was, where there is an oppressive system, there is even lack of trust among comrades, and the duration that the country stayed in a state of emergency, it had to turn it into police force, and a police force, police state, and a police state, it rules by brutality, and not everyone, no, in the white society was a collaborator and agreed with apartheid system and National Party. There was a young man whom is less talked about. His name was Neil Agate. He's a founding member of this Food and Allied Workers Union. He was a doctor in Paraguay, a medical doctor by profession. And he assisted even in the formation of COSATU. He was an activist of note. A white Afrikaner, Neil Agate, who died in the hands of, brutal hands of apartheid special branch, killed in John Foster. But he was an activist from 1979 up until his death, assisting workers in Fetis and Moni's factories to organize themselves, and understood the ideas of the ANC, and affiliated himself freely with the ANC, and he suffered and he died. Now, it was not like white society was in united behind the issue of apartheid. The way, I mean, if you see a 28-year-old doctor, medical doctor, who is a middle class, doing well, could serve the apartheid government of the National Party and play a large role in it, and continue with the segregation that was happening, and took a decision to say, I'm gonna be part of this struggle of the people. And it breaks my heart on how white activists are treated now in the ANC by some people who think they are radical and want to distort the role of white South Africans that played the role in the struggle for liberation of this country.
So they were called neoliberals at some point.
Yes.
I don't know what are they called now, because the rest of the Democratic Alliance, the DA, are neoliberals. But it's a different kind of a neoliberal. Yeah. So we have moved from those kind of doubting and stuff, and we got to the new dispensation now, where South Africa, it's no longer, well, it's still in the majority, but you can no longer guarantee votes based on your race.
Yes.
And demographics are now mixed.
Yes.
We live in areas where
white used to live.
Yes, we are walking past each other whenever we are going to shop. So it's very difficult, and the demarcation boards through the IEC, controlled by whoever. It's very difficult now for people to even control a ward, because ward have mixed races. Tell me, we are now in the era. A few years back, you are as old as I am. A few years back, people used to warn us about this government of coalition is going to prevail, because no one's going to have an absolute majority. Yes. We are at it now. Paint a picture of how good or how bad is it, and what are we going to do going forward, because we have seen that permanent enemies and permanent friends have actually been so fluid that you can't even guarantee.
Look, what is happening now, it was not a make of anybody. It was not initiated by anybody. It's a result of elections. And it is a result of South Africans who are enjoying democracy, and they are exercising it very well. But there are also people who want to hold on to extremism. That was defeated in 1994 when PAC lost the votes. You know, the policy of the EFF is not new. There's nothing new here. It's a policy of the PAC.
What, the 7 cardinal pillars and the...
Yeah, but it's the policy of the PAC in terms of the overall achievement, you know. And there was a ZAP, as I said as well. But now there are people who want to create an imaginary crisis out of this situation. Even when they talk, oh, we are done, hey, we are done. And those are hypists. We are led by hypists in this country. Someone who can just hype around and you know and think he has a monopoly of thinking about revolution.
They call them rabble rousers.
Yeah, I don't want to just hype everybody. You know, there's no space for those politics because people have moved beyond. They want a work in South Africa. And they don't want masturbatable politics. I always call, sorry to use this word, most of these organizations that they think they're extreme left, to me they are political masturbators. They just talk things that will never come to be, and they even themselves, they are not looking after those things. They don't want to put in those things into place. And I've told people about this artificial or imaginary black unity.
People are lying to us.
I'm going to get very one in my love. At my yaga, but you like a Mahato, Waka, have a howlages poor. What prevented the EFF to be swallowed by MK be swallowed by EFF if they have an ultimate black unity? What prevents them? All this organization, ATM, why can't they come together in the name of Christ and say Christ is the Lord? Why can't they come together?
I asked Professor Siposi the same question, saying these guys have 66%, only the 3, including ANC.
Yes.
Why can't, if it's not egos?
No, the ANC, it has never wanted to be part of, the ANC is a well-established machinery, it's an institution. There's no Mickey Mouse business there. We are not running some spaza shop of... ANC is very clear. ANC is an institution.
Yes.
Oh, but ANC.
Yes.
But Thomas spaza shop,
yes.
Institution in Dulam.
So people are failing there.
We elaborate na bomrongo body.
Yeah.
Na re ne bothata re tseba line.
Sure.
Re ne bothata le line. ANC se institution wara. ANC ya sa mapereko wena. Re bin re le go jaiva scoop go bsho kamka.
Yes.
Now I'm talking about this comrade who say ANC. ANC is sold out. Right?
Yes.
We agree. Right? We agree. ANC has led this organization in this country down the drain. And go stake of corruption. I want not less than 2 million corruption.
Yes.
Kamuka. Ukababala kamuka bo banakane. Bangwathile ba wishitshele di province. Wangwishe then ba feature. Why can't they make unity? For instance, how many points did MK go KZN?
I can't remember, but...
Yeah, it's 46. They got 44, I think.
Could have worked with...
any other black organization and push black agenda. TikTok, black agenda. Black... And ANC is clear. It has a mandate of South Africa. It is pushing for South Africa. They are carrying South African dreams. ANC is a non-sexist, non-racial organization. It has always been. It is in its DNA. You look at the history of the ANC, it has always been like that. And ANC would have always said that we reserve armed struggle for negotiations. So if you are in the ANC, you think you become radical, over-radical, ANC inhaled the cream of intellectualism. in the terabytes on how this country should work. And ANC is the only organization that is realistic in terms of carrying the aspiration of South Africans. Realistic, very realistic. Analytical as well. They are not hypebeasts. They are not clowns. They just don't want to talk what people want to hear. And ANC is the only organization that would have appreciated a contribution of anybody. You know that the Bantu Holomisa was a member of the ANC even during apartheid when he was a president of Transkei. Bantu Holomisa overthrew his cousin Stella Sitau. For that, there was a feeling that no man, Stella he cannot really advance the issues of building cells and units in Transkei because it was an independent state. It was not like Leboa.
So what was his relationship with? Is it Matanzima?
Yes, no. Agere, it was Matanzima, Kaiser. Then there was Stella Sitau. Then he overthrew Stella Sitau, who is their cousins.
Yes.
Stella Sitau was also a member of the ANC.
Okay.
Yeah, but there was a feeling that man, this Mukoni is not might be marginalized by Pretoria.
Yes.
ANC.
No, don't rush because I want to talk about why Mandela felt he no longer needs Bantu Holomisa, if you know.
No, it was not about feeling. I agree. There was an issue of ill discipline and all that. It was.
What was this ill discipline?
No. Let me put my.
Is it Sol Kestner? What was it?
No. It doesn't matter.
But it matters.
Why does it matter?
Comrades, but it matters.
But why does it matter?
It matters.
No, but if you know, if I don't know, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, but you are suggesting Sol Kestner.
No. I'm saying if you know.
Yeah. No. I think. To me, we had two issues of similar to one issue similar to Bantu Holomisa. We had a man called in a Botswana called Rocky Malebana Metsi, who overthrew Lucas Mangope. These comrades, Bantu and Rocky, they were active politicians even during apartheid. So at one stage, they carried the ANC on their shoulder through strategic means and advance. And it will tell you the DNA of the ANC. The ANC is appreciative of characters and talents and establishments that are there. ANC is not some individualism, ignorant, naive organization. Just always understood, hey, in there we have one of our own. Rocky Marema, we overthrew Mangope, came back, and he was also part of the cabinet of Popo Molefe. But he said he felt, or no, man, who's this Popo Molefe guy from UDF? He was unruly there. And then he eventually was expelled in the ANC, and then he left. He formed his own organization. The same thing. Comrade Bantu Holomisa used to host Comrade. He was senior to them. He was a president of Transkei. He played the license and all that. Hosted them and all. I thought it was ego. I once put yourself here.
Carried you.
Yeah, during a very difficult time. And then you as a swarmlao. I want you to tata lena, or teta lena, or teta, and I'm funding. But it was informed by that. You know, I them some good. And people must be very analytical and honest in their reflection. Now I knew why Comrade Bantu was out, and I remember one day as I was growing, I was discussing it with my father around the Rocky and Comrade Bantu. It's all that character that this person at one stage, ANC when he was banned, he was there and he was carrying the mandate, and when he come back, what is reshuffle? You understand? I mean, Comrade Bantu was a deputy minister. He was not a minister. As an MP.
I don't know.
And people reduce this to Comrade Bantu and Nelson Mandela, the president. That it was not that. ANC wara saka mapereko. asesitokfeleng ba botsishe.
Okay, let's continue talking about the 30 years and the legacy that the ANC has given us. Are you disappointed, and do you think now we are turning the betrayal the other way? Do you think the people of South Africa, Africans in particular, have, I'm finding it difficult to use this word, have abandoned the ANC, have betrayed the ANC after what you feel the ANC has done for the people of South Africa, blacks in particular?
No, I don't think so.
So 40-something% is reflective of what the people want, and you think is genuine?
Is reflective of successful story of democracy, and ANC being the custodianship of democracy in Africa. It's a reflection of lack of hostility of the ANC. In 2000, ZANU-PF lost the elections. From that time, Zimbabwe became a police state. By the way, in Zimbabwe, I must remind people, ZANU-PF is not an alliance of the ANC.
No.
But
the reason these guys are twerking, you would even think it's one part.
No, it's not.
They are confusing us.
Material condition. Zapu Aisalogon. The person of the ANC there was Comrade Joshua Ngom. And he was the one that, and his arm wing was Zebra. It was the one that he was in alliance with the ANC. But things change, dynamics shift, and the ANC should always remain relevant and neighborly in terms of the outlook. ZANU-PF started ruling Zimbabwe by force and brutality from 2000 when they lost the election.
Before you go further, just a small diversion. We'll come back. There's this historical narrative that says, and of course there are people point out to evidence that suggests that is true. Mugabe is so heartless that he killed Zebra forces. He told the Zebra forces to disarm, almost like we did in South Africa.
Yeah.
And yes, and when the arms of the forces of Joshua Nkomo were down, he was disarmed. Then he Kukura wounded them.
Yeah, he formed the private militia.
Yes, and after that, he wanted a one-party state.
Yes.
Because that banana presidency was a compromise that he was actually not happy with.
Yeah.
And after the elimination, he started what I've done lots of work on that in this podcast of how the Mashona people
marginalized the
Ndebelers even today to a state that it's a one party and one tribe nation. Do you think that is true?
Yeah, those are typical African politics that South Africa was blessed not to come across, and we fought so hard against during the issue of Codesa, even what the IFP wanted to achieve. Prominent leaders at the time of the IFP, they were fuming. They wanted that kind of an arrangement to have a South Africa that it can be identified through travel lines. You can think about whatever that has happened. Now, it has happened in Nigeria. It is happening in almost of African states. And Comrade Mugabe had to use that for him to stay so long. And happen until and after liberation, they kill organizational processes and organizational work. And then they create cultism. And is aligned with a tribal affiliation in terms of who you bring close. Now, he had to kill Matebele people through Gugura Undi so that I instill fear. And the fear subsided because now, genuinely, Comrade Joshua Nkomo was a great man. He genuinely believed in one Zimbabwe. He genuinely believed in liberation. He genuinely believed that even if it's not me, but if we found liberation and we find consensus, it's fine. And he haunted that man up until his death. And people, they are afraid to talk about those things.
The most unfortunate thing now is
even the constituency demarcation dictated that if you have a support of Matebele people, he will never be a president. Constituency demarcation.
Yeah. So the Mtwagazi people, Amandebele and the Kalangas living inside Mtwagazi
territory.
West of I forgot the name of the river. So everything in Matebele land, banally this sense of unity. Like I say, I've hosted a lot of Amandebele in my podcast. You know, one of the most difficult things is not only me, but lots of South Africans know Amandebele people. And the Shonas have actually come out to tell me that, Mashiane, you are protecting these Amandebeles in your country. Do you know that they are the ones who are involved in crime, and they are the ones who are doing a lot of hits in and around South Africa? They are the ones who are specializing in it. And you know, it's a sad thing that as Africans we have now, because of shielded Amandebele from Mtwagazi, they have now come here without any form of making a business and resort into violence, a violence that they cannot use, because people are saying it's all good and well if you are saying these are remnants of the wars that you could have fought. Why can't they fight it? Why can't they use it as a country to fight? Because they are looking, Mtwagazi is looking for independent states. I'm using this as a parallel of the thing that could have happened in South Africa, but we didn't. Yes. So just comment on that, and then we close it, and then we
I think obviously we all agree that the Matebele people are marginalized, and it was systematic. Is the same system when that's says in Nigeria, where a Igbo person, the Igbos, of which they can't find expression anywhere else because they won't try to rebel against the main government of Lagos. So Abuja, to say. Now, politically, I would tell you that whatever that is happening in that kind part of the world, the Western, it is systematic and it is embedded in the system of government led by ZANU-PF. And it needs redress of some sort. They need TRC and they need a commission that will redress that. Because when Comrade Thabo Mbeki started the peer review mechanism, I thought in my heart that one of the things that he would have wanted to readdress, because they will cause us a trouble as a country, as a neighbor, and regarding the issue of language, interaction in language, and the fact that the Matebele people are originally from here, I thought Mugabe need to be addressed when he was still alive to say, comrade, one of our own, we need to redress this because it's problematic and it's deep into Zimbabwe and it's affecting us today. That's all I want to say about it.
Thank you. So in closing, as promised, when you come back, you were blocked from fully extending in the last time we spoke. So I've got comments. I'm just sifting through the comments because I don't want to read non-building comments. They say you are singing for SAPA in the comments and you are evasive on Phala Phala.
Yes, okay. I'm saying they say I'm saying for Sapa.
You are singing for Sapa, meaning that you are tweaking for Ramaphosa.
Why would they think Sapa? Ramaphosa will give me money. Doesn't know me. What are they? What is Sapa?
Yes.
Well, Sapa agree is when you defend a friend. A leader. Ramaphosa doesn't know me.
Yes.
And I've been living. We have never met with that comrade, president of ours. I only met him last time when we met him. I told you that when Abu Julius had a hearing, go to the house. That was many years ago. So South Africa, the problem with people who don't understand politics, they always assume that they don't even understand this thing of democracy. Democracy means people can have their different views, and we must contest them with facts and substance. You can't be saying that's what is happening now. Every person, they'll tell you, the MK, they call us sellouts. Sellouts. It's a cheap words. We are revolutionary. We want facts here. They must engage on facts and substance, not on what I said and then you analyze that I'm singing for Sapa. Anyway, the people who say I'm singing for Sapa, they are working for white males. They are working for multinational companies.
Yes.
These comrades who say Nagel comrade, they are using medical aids of companies.
Yes.
What are they singing for? They can't even, if tomorrow must come to work, he can't go to rally and say I'm a comrade.
Yeah.
So they are so unrealistic, detached to reality, and they can't even separate issues.
What in the previous podcast do you think you did not articulate well or did not get a chance to articulate, so you want to fix it? In short, in closing.
What I want to tell people is that you were talking a very critical issue of the ANC losing vote. Is ANC betrayed? No, it's not betrayed. It's as a result of ANC being democratic. ANC had a choice to not be this democratic and play a liberation card. I've liberated you. Go and ask people in Uganda. Museveni is he says he has liberated them. ANC was ready to lose this election and allow others to take charge. Many, they will understand what is the ANC after it comes out of power. And they will learn to appreciate. Some of us who were lucky, we went out of the ANC, we came back. We appreciate it more because we have seen the DNA of other spaza shops, that they are not organizational and they are not people-based. And the ANC we are today can point out its flaws because it has no energy to hide the flaws.
Thank you. So I'm going to close with five political parties in 1 minute each. You give me a makeup of this party. You already given us about the ANC. Democratic Alliance, what kind of party
is a minority custodians of white capitalists trying to expand to a certain extent to adopt or elevate black aspirant middle class people who find expression in the framework of capitalism.
PAC?
Liberation movement, very high, disorganized from Codesa, too much squabbles internal, and a great dream that never been realized, because the dream, it must move beyond individual or organizational consensus. It must be a dream of the people.
Economic freedom fighters?
Economic freedom fighters it was supposed to be a great organization, great framework. It has branches in 90% of South Africa, but clouded by individual leader, whom is, I call him a black Dela branch. Yeah, he's a black Dela branch, very miscalculative to a certain extent. And he was blessed with genuine comrades that he brought out of the youth league. But his character has clouded everything.
Number 4, Patriotic Alliance.
Mauti, Mapara, they are not trying hard. Ke manyora. Abane jeding chikibu mzala. Ushapu, how se shapu reka udirela. I know.
Political hustlers.
Yeah, and very clear. No issues. Abato tobaya mabare izole tubalala me khonyana di crocodile. Ke maisa, mapara.
They say they're not worried with
tit for tat to them.
Yeah.
And they are the future. They will get their fair share in this democracy and in this country. And you can label them mapantiti or what. Maisa, mapara, and very genuine. Very genuine. It's the only organization with genuine people in terms of the intentions.
Because they say they are not going to waste money on conferences. They want to contest power. And what they get with power, work with what they have.
Yeah, what they have. And they understand that they might not move to a certain extent. They will always reach a ceiling. But they must, where they are confined to, they must work and liberate those who are around them.
Umkhonto wesizwe party.
To me, Umkhonto wesizwe is a duplication of IFP project. And we are yet to see it moving beyond. If I tell people, if you observe Umkhonto wesizwe by the last election, you have not been in South Africa for 30 years. They've took the same votes of the IFP. As the IFP was breaking away, Reverend Zivajiani, Bapfomabo Nadeko, NFP, Makwaza Msibi, and all that. And then it is how it died because Leona Bele are surrounded around Umtonaga Pindange. And then it will always find rebellion if people want to have absolute godly power in politics. There's a band from 1994. IFP had a lot of breakaways, and that's what led to them to their demise now. Now, we will see if the MK can be organizational, equal to EFF. EFF can't take it away. It's very organizational in terms of framework, branches and everything. You know, the problem is there, up there, which that's what led to it and the rift between Floyd and Julius and all that. But ile right Toma. Yeah, Toma ina le masholatsi ba organization or organization ke branch, whether le 5 or le 7, mara swantse go be le footprint ya branch. So this one of the MK, everything's around Ubaba, and South Africans are not like that by nature. They can't tolerate politics, it's a cultism, because it's Ubaba all the way, Ubaba constitution, Ubaba that. And to me, it has a character of a Zulu nationalist organization. We will see. Only time will tell us if it can move beyond what I say now. But as we speak, that's what it is.
Machine politically incorrect. One of the things that you would want to do is just know that this channel does unorthodox politics. We do politics that you won't find on the SABC because by nature we can't reach the market that they reach. If you have enjoyed us, I know you want to disagree with him. If you check the previous podcast, they all disagreed with him. But he remains resolute and he puts point. People don't debate the man. People are debating the thing that he says. Please do the same. Debate what he says and don't debate him. Thank you very much, Itada.